right, thanks for sticking around. I'm Rich Walsh in for Bob Pompiani tonight, and we got a big show for you, an all-star panel of guests, and we're going to be talking about what is the most pressing fix right now for the Pirates. They're falling and falling fast. What would you do? I'm going to hear what these guys think. Also, the Steelers start minicamp in about a couple days, and there's potential talk about maybe doing something with the preseason. Should they add more regular season games or expand the postseason? We'll hear their thoughts. And 25 years ago today, Mario Lemieux was drafted by the Penguins. Is he the best draft pick all time? And here's who's going to be talking tonight from left to right on your screen. Chris Mueller from 93.7 The Fan, Will Graves from the Associated Press, and Tim Benz, Total Media. So, guys, Pirates lose again today, get swept by the Brewers. They've lost 6 of their last 7 against the Brewers. It's not looking good. They just keep losing. And, Tim, we'll start with you. What would you do right now? What's the most pressing fix for the Pirates?
The bullpen. And how do you do it? I got no clue. But I think the bullpen is the biggest problem. And it's not with the closer. It's kind of going back, maybe not even with Crick, but before that, like to get to the good parts of the bullpen, you got to go through the morass that is the middle part of their bullpen, and it is tested more often than normal because they can't find a lot of pitchers that can get into the 6th inning. I would say, Rich, that's the most pressing concern and also the most complicated because teams who are built like the Pirates don't necessarily tweak middle to early relief. That's what good teams do. That's what contenders do. And I don't think they view themselves as such right now. And it is getting worse with Liriano's struggles.
You say that the middle relief is what a morass, and that's a very appropriate choice of words in more ways than one. They're terrible. I mean, what I would do, I don't know, try to retroactively go back and uninjure all of their pitchers from the starting rotation, because I think that would have helped them a little bit. But this bullpen has been a dumpster fire. They've blown a lot of leads, and not only are they not the kind of team that's going to make tweaks, like Tim said, to the middle of the bullpen like that kind of gray area that's not Crick, that's not Vasquez, they're also not a team that's built to win after their bullpen blows a lead, after a 2-run lead turns into a 1-run deficit or a tie game. They were built to win a lot of close 2-1, well, 3-2, 4-3 type of games. And I think it's extra demoralizing when you don't feel like you have the offense, even though their offense has been better of late, to recover from those kind of situations. So to make it very clear here, what's the next pressing thing to fix this? I don't got anything. Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, look, today was their 9th loss when they were leading after 6. I think so. The bullpen is definitely a problem. But for me, when you've got, what, 2/5 of your starting rotation out indefinitely, I know, and Trevor Williams is sort of close to coming back. But when Dallas Keuchel is out there, if you're really serious about contending, the Kimbrel thing, they don't need a closer. Cubs do the Cubs, whatever. But for me, not going out and getting a starting pitcher that could bridge this gap to kind of keep you competitive, that's a problem. I mean, and if you want to get the fan base back, look how we reacted last year when they traded for Chris Archer. And, you know, we were, oh, they gave up Glasnow and Meadows. But, man, Chris Archer, they're really going for it. If they signed Dallas Keuchel, the fan base would have the exact same reaction. The ownership wants to tell you, oh, we're really serious about contending, and then they do nothing about it. The Braves have, by the way, bad starting pitching. They're in it, and what they do, they went out and signed a pitcher.
They have Dallas Keuchel. And, by the way, the thought was that he wanted to go to a big market. Well, the Yankees offered what ended up would have been a $12 million prorated deal. He took 13 from the Braves. I know that Atlanta is a much bigger city than Pittsburgh, but that still isn't a big market in New York terms. So clearly it was about the money for him, and the Pirates had the money there. If they had given him, say, $14 million prorated for the rest of the year, guess what? That would have brought their payroll to what it started at last year.
Will, do you think this sets up for the Pirates using the excuse of injuries heading into next year? They might not do anything.
Yeah, I mean, among other things. But, I mean, my bigger problem here is that, look, they sat there, and for weeks they've sat there and done nothing. I mean, when one team goes out and gets Dallas Keuchel and you start rookie Davis, whose ERA in AAA was, what, 5+. And when he started for the Reds 2 years ago, his ERA was 8+. When that's your move, you're not really serious about contending. So I almost feel bad for Neil Huntington, although he did sign a contract to take Bob Nutting's blood money. He comes out here every Sunday and tries to convince us these are the moves he's going to make to help them be competitive, and it's just, I mean, it's just not. They have 20 Major League guys on that roster. They need 25.
I don't feel sorry for Huntington for the position that he's in. This isn't like Craig Patrick having to trade Jaromir Jagr. You know, I mean, like, he's complicit. He could have left the Pirates before. Clint Hurdle, if he's not happy with his situation, he could have left the Pirates before. I think Neil Huntington leaves Pittsburgh. He has another general manager's job pretty quickly in baseball. He's all right with what's going on. I think he likes to be the guy that tinkers in the lab and tries to win without a lot of assistance from big market revenue. Would he like to have more money? Of course he would. But I also think he kind of likes the reputation of we're going to be just good enough to get by with the little limited pieces that we have. And look at how smart I am to get us over 500 from time to
time. Do you think he has a good reputation, though?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I think that's my point.
Rich, he ended 20 years of losing.
Exactly.
And listen, I think his drafting and development, which is Larry Broadway and Joe Delicari, too, as farm and scouting director, respectively, that really needs to be called into question. When Austin Meadows goes, and you can read a baseball prospectus piece about how he unlocked the potential in his swing in Tampa, and boy, the Pirates look silly. When Glass now obviously does what he has done in Tampa, it makes you wonder about how they develop players. Neil has a good reputation, though, and Tim, I know you might say, I think he does like in seasons to try to just keep them afloat and then maybe get a push at the right time and make the playoffs. But you want to ask somebody how it is going from shoestring budget to the penthouse and to unlimited budget. I think Andrew Friedman likes what he's doing in L.A., generally speaking, compared to Tampa.
Oh, well, he likes it, but you get my point, though. He could have left and gone somewhere else if he wasn't comfortable where he is, right?
Well, there's only 30 of these jobs out.
Theo Epstein left and went from one big market to the other.
Neil Huntington has never
gone to a bigger market.
Neil Huntington has never won a playoff series as Pirates GM, so I don't know if it's got the same cachet as Friedman getting the Rays to the World Series and Epstein winning one in Boston, or winning what?
Well, don't you guys
the weird part is because the bullpen has been so bad in the middle, the court sort of makes you appreciate what he was able to do in terms of finding guys to plug holes. I mean, he got Grilly off the scrap heap, and then Grilly all of a sudden goes from the middle innings to the closer.
You find Richard Rodriguez off the scrap heap, and then you're
not going to bat 1,000, but it does make you.
But you stay with him way too long, Will.
Well,
like I don't disagree. I think Neil Huntington's biggest weakness as a GM overall is that he likes to be the guy to what Tim said, who is the trendsetter. He's doing it his way. When they defensively shifted in 2013 the way that they did, they were sort of on the leading edge there. They weren't on the leading edge with the opener, so they didn't really embrace it. Or when they did, they put bad pitchers out there instead of actual
Well, would
good
you at
ones.
least allow me, Chris, that he's got a Billy Bean complex? He likes that, look what I can do with less reputation?
I think when you've managed to pull it off and you've managed to rip off at some point in your tenure from when you took over and there was nothing here, 94, 88, 98, I think it's impossible not to feel like, oh, let's see if I can keep taking, moving the pieces around here that aren't very good and making something great out of it. Yes.
Before we go to break, guys, don't you think his value has fallen since 2015, though? I mean, maybe he could have got a job in 2016, but right now, I think it would be tough just to, what you guys said earlier, there's only...
I don't know. I mean, they had a winning record. I mean, let's remember, they did actually have a winning record last year with a team that was not very good, and I think that's sort of a compliment to his work, right?
If there's a smart team president and owner out there, they kind of put him on a list a while ago and figure he's been working under a certain sort of duress ever since, and I think his good work, even just those 3 great years they had in a row, got him on everyone's radar and kept him there.
Yeah, Rich, I think his reputation has taken a hit since the winter of 2015, sure, but I still think if he decided he didn't want to be the GM of the Pirates anymore, within a year, he would find himself working for a team that allows him to spend more money than what the 28th biggest payroll in baseball.
All right, now let's talk about a major move that's just been made. The former Kenny Ross Chevrolet and Nissan and Zelian-Opel were both now part of the #1 Cochran team. This is #1 Cochran's first ever Chevy franchise in Nissan store #4 right now. Get grand lease offers plus an extra $1,000 over KBB for your trade only at the new #1 Cochran Chevrolet and #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry. Back with more Bucko Talk coming up next.
The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.